Welcome to Revelation chapter 17, part 2. Let's read verse 11. So here is a clue concerning Antichrist. The Antichrist, or the beast, is one of 5 previous Roman rulers or emperors that existed before John wrote the book of Revelation. When John was writing, one of these Roman emperors was no longer alive. This may be referring to a demon that controlled one of the Roman emperors. Today, this demon is in the underworld. But one day, this demon will ascend out of the bottomless pit. And the world will wonder at this man who once lived and was dead and now is alive. There are 7 Roman emperors. And the emperor that appears to possibly fit this description is Caesar Nero. Interestingly enough, Nero's name in Hebrew totals 666. Many in the early church referred to Caesar Nero as the beast. Nero's persecution of the church was supernaturally evil. He must have been possessed by demonic spirits. Nero was used by Satan. He hated Christians. He hated the Christian church. He tortured Christians, persecuted them. Christians were ripped apart by lions for public entertainment in the Colosseum. Nero dipped Christians in tar and set them on fire. Nero made human torches. He was controlled by demonic forces. So the beast that was and is not, he goes into perdition. Nero never repented. He went to a place of torments or eternal death. But possibly Satan will bring out the same spirit in another leader. Let's read verse 12. Daniel 7 contains similar information. Daniel had a vision or dream about 4 living creatures. Daniel 7, verse 7, said, "After this I saw in the night visions a 4th creature or beast. It was dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly. It had iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces. It stamped the residue with its feet. It was different from all the other creatures that were before it. It had 10 horns." So these 4 creatures are related to the previous dream of Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 2. He saw a multi-metallic man. Nebuchadnezzar's dream was about world empires. But now in Daniel 7, there is a parallel vision. Only he does not see the world governing empires as a man. He sees them as beasts. Finally, this last of the beast appears to be an awesome creature not similar to the others. It's not like an animal like a bear or a lion. It has 10 horns. It reminds us of the 10 toes of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So you have 10 horns coming out of this 4th creature. Similarly, you have 10 toes in Nebuchadnezzar's multimetallic man. The toes were part iron and part clay. So it's showing a relationship with the Roman Empire that was made of iron. These visions in Daniel have similarities to Revelation 17:12. God is revealing these 4 world-dominating empires. But there's an 11th horn that rises. Daniel 7 verse 8. The 11th horn takes over 3 of the horns and removes them by the roots. In this little horn there were eyes like a man and a mouth speaking great things. This 11th little horn is the Antichrist. He will remove 3 of the previous kings. These horns appear to be a federation of nations that will appear in the last days. Nations that are related to the Roman Empire. Today, the European Union has 27 nations. Some of these nations were part of the original Roman Empire. If God doesn't use the EU to create these 10 last nations, then he may be missing a good opportunity. Let's read verse 13. Now back in 17:12, Revelation chapter 17, verse 12, these rulers received the power like a king. And for 1 hour they gave to the beast or the Antichrist strength. They have one mind. They're agreeing together, agreeing to make war with Christ, to destroy Jesus Christ when he comes back to rule the earth. So they're turning their power over to the Antichrist. The Antichrist becomes empowered as a leader, the beast. Satan will use Antichrist to try and stop Jesus from setting up his kingdom. There exists in the world today many powerful men, and some have dedicated themselves to destroying God. One example are men that call themselves humanists. They have their own constitution. It's called the Humanist Manifesto. The Humanist Manifesto describes what they believe and practice. They have dedicated their talents and finances to remove any mention of God. They say that God is a foolish, unscientific superstition. They have used legal means to eliminate any mention of God in public life. They want to eliminate morality that is based upon the Bible. These men want to destroy biblical morality. They want to bring in lawlessness, rebellion, and all types of evil. They want to permit prostitution, lying, fornication, adultery. So the spirit of Antichrist is already at work. And there are men today that have embraced these ideas. This is fallen mankind and Satan's last attempt to rebel against God. What we're seeing here in verse 13, they are defying Jesus Christ. They don't want God to rule over them. Let's read verse 14. They are making war with Jesus Christ, the Lamb. This is a simple verse. There's no big battle, no prolonged fighting. They simply make war with the Lamb, Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ overcomes them. We will see that actually Jesus Christ is speaking with his mouth, and he destroys these armies. Jesus is the King of Kings, but he has others with him, part of his army. They are called chosen and faithful. But you have also been called by God. You are called to be part of his family. You have been chosen by Jesus Christ to be part of his kingdom. In 2 Thessalonians 2:13, it tells us that we are bound to give thanks always to God, because God has from the beginning chosen you for salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth. In Ephesians 1:4, it tells us that God has chosen us in him, in Jesus Christ, before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. And Jesus has called you to be faithful. Ephesians 1:1, to the faithful in Jesus Christ. 1 Corinthians 1:9 says, God is faithful, by whom you were called to the fellowship of his Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Let's read verse 15. This false religious system will deceive and control all nations. The kings gave their power to the Antichrist. These kings also used this religious system to their advantage for a time. But eventually, these kings will turn against this religious system. Let's read verse 16. God will put in the hearts of these leaders these 10 horns to accomplish his will. They will destroy this religious system. God sometimes uses unrighteous and evil people to accomplish his will. The Lord can place in the heart of an evil person his will. This was something that disturbed the prophet Habakkuk. God revealed to Habakkuk that he was going to use the evil Babylonians to punish the Jewish nation. The Babylonians would conquer Israel and take it into captivity. Habakkuk said, Lord, that's not fair. He said, yes, the Jewish nation is bad, but we're not that evil. The Babylonians are much worse than we are. God answered Habakkuk, if I told you, you wouldn't understand. Just trust me by faith. God said, I know what's best. So God puts in the hearts of these evil leaders things that will allow them to accomplish His will. Let's read verses 17 and 18. In John's day, there was no doubt which city reigns over the kings of the earth. The city that reigned over the kings of the earth was the city of Rome. It was the political, economic, and religious center of the world at that time. And the Babylonian false religious system has always been the great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. The question we need to answer is, what rules and reigns over me right now? Am I serving a worldly, corrupt system? Or am I serving a heavenly kingdom? I must choose to be a citizen of a better city, a heavenly city, Jerusalem above, Galatians 4:26. I need to be a citizen of God's kingdom, not just serving a worldly kingdom. By repenting of dead works and by faith, I can choose to be part of Christ's kingdom. In conclusion, next time, Lord willing, we will study chapter 18, Commercial Babylon. We will read about God's destruction of commercialism, systems that have brought tremendous wealth and power to a small number of people. But the same system has brought bondage and suffering to millions of people. We will read how kings and merchants and others respond to this destruction. Then in a few weeks, Lord willing, we'll get to the really interesting parts of this book of Revelation. The new heaven and the new earth. So the best is yet to come. But until that time, love one another.